Hello, my name is Shanti Hall, and for my research paper, I chose the topic of genetically modified foods. I chose this topic because we eat genetically modified foods every day without knowing it. I feel as though we as consumers have the right to know what it is that we are eating. Since the beginning of the agricultural revolution, humans have been altering plants and animals to suit their specific needs and desires, whether regrowing a tomato because it is flavorful or raising animals for meat. Humans have sought advancement in the food industry for years. Though there are many benefits to growing genetically modified foods, such as drought and freeze resistance, which leads to an increased yield, sacrifices must be made to achieve these. Genetically modified foods are harmful to the environment, cause serious health issues, and do not benefit the consumer, which is why I believe genetically modified foods should be banned in the United States. Genetically modified foods are an unnatural combination of genetics. Plant and animal genes are used to introduce specific traits to whole different species. Some people argue that the genetic modification of plants and animals is as natural as breeding plants or breeding animals, which have been around for thousands of years. The fact, however, is that this is not true. Yes, the breeding of plants and the breeding of animals have been around for thousands of years, but the genetic modification of the two together has not. Genetically modified foods and the genetic modification process is a relatively new science, and therefore testing of long-term effects on the environment have yet to be done. According to Professor Krimsky and lawyer Jeremy Gruber, authors of The GMO Deception, many people believe genetically modified organisms have taken over the world of agriculture. In reality, however, genetically modified foods are produced in only 28 of the 195 countries in the world. This is due to a lack of evidence supporting genetically modified foods as healthy, environmentally friendly, and sustainable foods, and an increased number of consumers voicing their concerns of the food industry. According to George Fernandez Cornejo et al., the majority of genetically modified crops have either herbicide tolerance or produce a form of pesticide. This has led to a decrease in pesticide use, but an increase in herbicide use. Plants and animals in the environment have developed herbicide and pesticide resistance. Fish, birds, and other insects eat these super bugs and super weeds. And herbicides and pesticides are absorbed into the groundwater and are inadvertently consumed by humans, the effects of which are still unknown. Geneticist Anthony Connor et al. Say the main risks of genetically modified crops are with toxicology and ecology. Ecology is the study of how organisms relate to each other, meaning how do genetically modified foods affect the environment. And toxicology, the study of poison, is how genetically modified foods affect humans and animals that consume them. Farmers feed animals genetically modified foods in an effort to save money, even though genetically modified foods have been known to cause serious health issues. According to Melissa Smith, author of the GMO Reality Check, quote, genetically modified foods have caused infertility, immune system problems, accelerated aging, insulin and cholesterol regulation problems, gastrointestinal problems, and changes in organs in animals, end quote. It is unfortunate that the food industry has decided to increase profit at the expense of our health. Consumers do not benefit in any way from genetically modified foods. According to Melissa Smith, in 2011, 94% of all soy and 84% of all corn grown in the United States was genetically modified. Corn and soy have found their way into the majority of processed foods in some form or fashion, meaning we eat genetically modified corn or soy for almost every meal every day. The United States Department of Agriculture says that the main reason farmers are growing genetically modified foods is for an increased yield in crops. Consumers, however, do not benefit at all from genetically modified foods. This increased yield does not have any effect on the pricing for some reason. In fact, in order to avoid genetically modified foods, consumers are being forced to buy expensive organic food. According to Krimsky and Gruber, companies that create genetically modified seeds and plants advertise their products as unique to investors, but portray them as the same to consumers. Krimsky and Gruber also say a lack of labeling requirements for genetically modified foods has led to consumer concerns regarding free speech, right to know, and religious and cultural dietary restrictions. The reason there are no labeling laws for genetically modified foods is because large genetic engineering corporations have invested a lot of money to keep the laws the way they are. These companies are concerned that if given the option, consumers will buy non-genetically modified foods, meaning that their sales prices or sales will drop. If these large companies are more concerned with the fact that if given the option, consumers will choose not their product, maybe the problem is with these large corporations and not the consumer's decisions. A well-informed consumer will make a well-informed decision. Over 60 countries around the world have restrictions or bans on the sale and production of genetically modified foods. That is more than double the amount of countries that are producing genetically modified foods. The United States and the United States Department of Agriculture should take a hint and ban the production of genetically modified foods in the United States for the safety of our our people and for the world.